Hello guys, I have several old cars and today we're gonna work on something newer than a 1956 Buick. So we have a 2002 Chevy Silverado, and last time we were driving it back from the airport, it just totally, at first it started to cut out, and then finally just like totally didn't go anywhere. So had to call the flatbed at 4 o'clock in the morning and got this damn thing back here. So let's check it out and see what's wrong with it. So here's this valve-worn pickup truck. It's got a V6 engine in it, and let's try to open it up. My dad broke it on the front. Yeah, I let him borrow my truck, and then he brought it back all beat up, but it was still working until now. So I have every reason to believe that either the coil or this ignition unit failed on it. So I just changed the coil not too long ago, so we'll probably try to see if the ignition part broke. So first we're gonna remove this big hose here. Actually probably just gonna take this off and then remove that, and then we can get access to the ignition, which is right under here. Once you take this plastic screw off, there is a breather hose on the side what comes off, and then theoretically you can lift the whole thing up and move it away. The problem is it's still not good, so I think I need to remove this part as well here. Well, it came right off. Remove this whole plastic piece, and now we got exposed to the ignition part. So I just changed this coil, so I have a feeling that maybe this unit here broke. So, but I got the whole thing, so maybe just to test it, maybe I just gonna change this one first and then see if it starts, and then we can eliminate the coil, and then maybe I can save the coil. I don't know. I usually like to buy OEM parts, but this was $35. I couldn't say no to it, because just for this little ignition part at Napa they wanted $100. So I said O'Reilly's, they wanted $107. So in this one everything is included. So I'm just gonna try to plug this on first and see if the coil is still good what I have on it, so I can just save that coil for later. But this is how it looks like, one unit. These guys are not connected, but they're doing something together, so they kind of connected in the function wise. I think I just gonna change the whole thing. So I'm gonna take this nut off and then the two bolts out, and then I can remove the whole thing. This is where the ignition goes out, and then just need to remove these two cables, and then we can just change the whole thing. First we remove this nut here, and there's another nut down there in the middle. Also, we're going to remove these are 10mm nuts, so this car is all metric now. So now we can take the two bolts out at the bottom, and the whole thing is out. So we can take these out, and the whole thing came off. Super easy. Next one goes on, and we can put the bolts back on the way they were. That's pretty much it for the bolts. Everything is there. I know there's one broken in, but it doesn't really bother me. And then we just need to plug these up. 1, 2, 3, and then we can try to see if it works. If I want to start this truck right now, it most likely won't start, because the computer will not know how much air passing through the airflow meter is not actually working on it. So I need to reinstall this big pipe first, or big hose first, and then try to start it. It's all back together, so let's try to see if it starts. Well, still no, most likely no ignition, so I guess it didn't start or didn't fix it. So I plugged in this CAN tool. It says ignition coil 1 control circuit. So I was not totally wrong with that to do this, but I don't know why. So let's keep going with this. I've decided to reposition the truck here so I don't have to run that far to the garage, because it's going to be a little deeper repair than I thought it would be. So I pulled off the distributor cap, and looks like there is all kind of rust in there with the connectors. So I'm gonna just get a new cap, a new rotor, and then meanwhile I looked at the voltage. So the volt's supposed to come in here, 12 volts supposed to be on this one where the pink wire, or red, used to be red wire, is. And then also there's supposed to be ground. The ground is present, and I had to check that this also have 12 volts here, and this other wire with a little bit of black in it, it comes over here, and they are connected. So these two things is connected together. So far so good. So I have all the connections, all the voltage for this, but I have a feeling that maybe there is something wrong here. So I'm gonna change that, and then the next thing I'm gonna try is to see if the spark coming out of here, and if it does, then that means there's something wrong over there. That's my thinking. So we just changed the rotor. The rotor doesn't look all that bad, but the bottom of the distributor is. So we got another one from O'Reilly's. You're not supposed to touch that carbon ball or the top of the rotor. This one is the old one. So now we're just gonna put this on and then see what happens. Well, we put on the cap, and now we're installing the wires. Then we're gonna put all these things back on where they should go, and then we're gonna try to start it again, see what happens. Everything's put together. Let's see what happens. Okay. Well, let's see, it don't work. Usually manufacturers give out a flow chart to troubleshoot problems like this. I think I checked everything. So basically on this one, you want to check the white wire when you crank in to have around 4 volts on it, and then the red should be positive all the time, and then the other one supposed to go over to meet with the other wire, but none of these are working. So the only thing I came up with is that it's all good. It's just maybe the crankshaft position sensor doesn't give the information what is the RPM on the engine. So that's the next thing to check. So now we're gonna check if I can see it on my scan tool that when I crank the engine, does it actually shows the RPM. So here's the engine RPM, and we're gonna see what it shows when I'm cranking. Well, that was showing 0, so here's our problem. Let's try to fix it. In the future, gonna do a little exercise on my flying bicycle, then head over to O'Reilly's and get that crankshaft position sensor. I got a crankshaft position sensor. Hopefully that will fix it. It's at the very bottom on the front cover at the bottom of the engine, and I just one knot brings it off, and then you can just pull it out. Yeah, this is very hard to show, but it's right there. You can see it over there. It's like I pulled the cable off of it, so now I just need an 8mm wrench, and I can get that knot off or bolt off. Well, it wasn't easy. It's upside down. It's better if it's lifted up or it's on a lift. A lot easier, but I managed to do it. You can see that there is a little mark on it, so it's been hit several times, so maybe that's why it went bad. The new one came actually with spacers, so I put the spacers around it so it would pull it back just a hair. So let's hope that it's gonna work and that fix the problem. So now we're gonna turn off the charger, the battery charger, and then let's try to start it. Well, looks like it still doesn't want to do anything. Well, we're gonna plug the scanning tool and see if it shows any RPM now. Well, still no engine RPM, so I got to go troubleshoot the plus and the minus, and then I got to see the data line. A night passed by, so I'm kind of keep thinking like, what is going on with this thing? So finally I invited my buddy Mac over, and then he has like more than 400,000 miles under his belt with these engines. He had a Blazer and other cars which had the same engine. And then I kind of showing what I'd done to it, and then what I was measuring, and now I got this printed out little circuitry. So here's the ignition control module, and here's the ignition coil. So here's the ignition control module and the coil, and there's one wire what connects together, the white and the black one. As you probably remember from earlier, I actually checked that probably at least 3 times, and every time I checked it there was continuity with this voltmeter. So if you put it to where it beeps, we touch it together, then it shows you that it's actually they're touching each other. So I'm showing it to my friend Mac, and it was not checking out. It was not beeping. There was somewhere a cut in it. So looking at it a little bit better, and sure enough, very close to the coil, there was a little bit of a softness in the cable, and apparently the brass middle part, what conducts the electricity, that separated and broke. So finally we figured it out that it was a broken wire here. So I'm gonna take this intake off the 27th times, and I'm gonna show it to you where was it. So here it is. I tried to use flow charts. I got some printed out flow charts now, and I read the manual and all kind of stuff to get to this point, and yeah, so this is it. So now I have almost a new engine now. I got all kind of sensors and wires and stuff new in it, but at least it's gonna last for a while then, I hope. So now we're gonna just get the soldering gun out, and I'm gonna solder it up, seal it up, put everything back together, and we're gonna try to start it now. Sometimes I do car repairs in my Greyhound bus or this, so I don't really like the soldering equipment that needs electricity. So I use this one. It's got little gas in it, butane gas, and then it works really well, made by Valor. And then I soldered it up, so I'm gonna put this little shrink wrap over it, and once the shrink wrap is done, then I'm gonna use some electrical tape and then cover it all up, so make sure it's not gonna move anymore. Hopefully that will fix it. I like to keep my electrical tape in this little holder so it wouldn't get all dirty. So I finished off wrapping up both cables, and then there was a factory protector on it which I put back, and then put a little electrical tape on the end, both ends, and then a little bit in the middle. So now supposedly it's all good, so let's put this air duct on it the 27th time, and then let's see if it starts. Most likely everything is back on. If you work on one of these, don't forget that there is a little breather hose in the back. It needs to go back on also, and let's see what happens. Woohoo! Fantastic, running like a champ. As you see, there is a check engine light on it, so we're gonna have to take care of that in a second, and then everything else works. There is a little hissing sound in it. I'm sure it's not a snake. What is it? And sure enough, this thing. And I just changed the damn thing. So, yep, there we go. So I just need to change that. I need to change this before we can go any further. Now the engine is already making a little roughness, developed a little roughness. So I'm gonna have to find some hose, and I just have to change that out. I found 2 hoses, so temporary I'm gonna do that. I think it's gonna work, and then I'm gonna have to just buy the proper setup. I think I'm gonna look around on eBay. Maybe I can find an original one and replace that. So now we're gonna teach the car where the crankshaft position sensor is, but I'm waiting for it to warm up a little bit, and then we're gonna try it, because we're gonna have to rev it up pretty badly. Okay, so here's the crankshaft position variation learn procedure. So first we're gonna install the scan tool. So scan tool goes on. So this is what we're gonna do. It says crankshaft position variation learn procedure. It says if you have a code of 1336, which we don't have, we have this one, and that was the ignition coil. So both of them are, so we're gonna erase that. Yeah, erase DTC. So this was successful, and then we're gonna go back and go to the diagnostic trouble mode, and then all these things. So we basically go to the teaching mode. So we're going into the system actuator test. Crankshaft position variation learn, and then it says all these things. Next. RPM should not increase beyond the calibrated value. Yes. Next. Please make sure following conditions. Yes. Next. And it says auto, and there says engine speed, shift gear in neutral. Okay, next. So it says I have to release the throttle at 5100 when the fuel cutoff occurs. And then next, release pedal. Well, I tried everything. I got this message, I don't know why. It says vehicle condition is out of test condition, no response from vehicle ECU. There's the two options. I set the parking brake, holding the brake pedal, then it's warmed up, so it's showing 190 Fahrenheit, so everything should be there, but it's not happening. So I just got to forfeit and give up. It's a trash truck, so I don't care. Now that this Chevy is running, we can get back to the repair job of the core van. It's waiting for some parts. I already got them, I just need time to put them back on. So yeah, there's gonna be a video of the core van repair as well. As you guys probably figured it out by now, I'm not a professional car mechanic. I'm just having fun fixing my own stuff. So you better consult your owner's manual or shop manual, or take your car to a mechanic, and then they're gonna fix it for you the right way, and they're not gonna make you spend all kind of money on it like I just did. It was just a wire, but I bought all kind of parts for it. Well, anyhow, it ended up being a lot longer video than I planned on it. So the car is running, good deal. Thanks for watching. See you guys next Friday with something else. Bye.